So I've been thinking lately about being a Christian, about what my life looks like in being a Christian. And I'm realizing that my whole life I was always like, man, you've got to do the Christian walk. It's gonna be so hard. You gotta live life, and it's so much more difficult to live life in the Christian walk. And yeah, I'm pumping myself up because I'm living this difficult life, and I almost like put this wrong mindset in me, right? And I'm starting to really realize that why does it have to be this hard life? It actually should be the easiest life you ever live. But we're going around, and that makes it so much more like why would anybody want to come into something that's so freaking difficult? To live a life that's so difficult when the outside of this life is so much easier. Like, I don't even want to live in a difficult life. I want to live in a life that's freaking easy. So I'm thinking why, God, why does it seem like this life's so difficult? And why have we said this? Because it's persecution. You gotta take up your cross. You gotta do all this other, bad theological crap that we've come up with. And me personally, I've come to the conclusion that the Christian walk is the easiest life ever if your identity is set in who God is as a father and who you are as a son or daughter. Now, bear with me here. The verse that says, if you ask for a fish, I'm not going to give you a snake. If you ask for, all the things you ask for, God's not going to give you the opposite, right? So, if we take that to heart and we take that as a reality, this walk should be easy. Why do we make it so difficult? We make it so difficult because of all the rules and legalistic expectations that we put on ourselves, so we can not, quote, sin. But if you have a set identity in who you are as a new creation or as a son and daughter, why would you need to sin? We have one freaking rule that God gave us, and that rule was love thy neighbor like I love you. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. I've talked about this before. I've spoken this before. We gotta love, and that's it. Just love, and this walk should be easy. Why do we have all these rules? Even when it comes to my Christian friends and stuff, they're like, hey, you gotta, I don't want to be a Christian because there's so many rules. There's so much I gotta live by. There's not any freedom. I'm like, wow, yeah, you're completely right. There is absolutely no freedom in a legalistic culture. But I'm not talking about a legalistic culture. We're not wanting to live in this legalistic culture. We want to live in a culture of freedom. And I've realized there's a lot more freedom than I was living in growing up in the church and whatnot, because, quote, I wasn't allowed to wear a hat in the church growing up sometimes. I wasn't allowed to do a lot. I wasn't allowed to say or drink or whatever I wanted to do because you had these boundaries and you put up this fence so you don't sin. And so then we add rules and more rules and blocks so we don't sin. But then really that's not freedom. That's just maintaining the sin. And so I'm realizing my whole life I never had a set identity in who I was because I was just maintaining my sin and not wanting to sin. So this Christian walk is actually super easy if we get set in our correct identity and who we are. Once you have this realization of you get conviction, right? Conviction, good, because it's actually your new self realizing what's not good and healthy for you. Now, Paul says everything's permissible, but not everything's beneficial. Now, we're able to see what is not beneficial for us, but it's still permissible if we do it, just not beneficial. I want to live a beneficial life. So if I have this conviction knowing that it's not beneficial for me, I'm going to choose not to do it, and that's freedom. I have the freedom to choose not to do stuff that's going to harm me rather than stuff that would harm me. And I realize I've been living in this non-freedom, slave-like mentality, and I don't want to live that anymore, and I don't think you do either. So this is just blowing my mind, and just talking to people that are not Christians or whatever, it's blowing my mind because we need to stand in the freedom that we're living and show that this is a way easier life than all the other crap out there. This life this walk, this is not hard. The only, I guess, difficult part about it is the mockery you might get. So what? If they're mocking you, Jesus said, they're mocking you, they're mocking him. They're not actually mocking you, they're mocking God. So just be a part of it. Now, I'm not saying go out and do whatever you want. There's some, you do have to have your own personal boundaries and convictions, so that's going to affect you more or whatnot. But once you start to walk in the mindset and this paradigm shift in our minds, boom, crazy things are going to start to happen. You're going to get free from so much stuff. I've already been free from so much stuff in my life, so much hurt, so much burden, so much addiction because of this. And I'm continuing to understand. I'm not fully there. And I believe we can get fully there. And I'm not saying that there's some things that you might not agree with that I might be saying, but I'm saying that we can definitely live an easier life in this Christian walk. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or anything, just please contact me. This is really helping me to come up with these videos, but this has just been on my heart lately, and I'm going to definitely talk more about this subject as time goes on. So thanks, guys.